I think it's time for the Xbox Series S to go, and this is something I covered in a recent upload, saying that Xbox needs to fix this problem fast. And essentially what I'm talking about is the recent trend, and a growing trend, one that I do not think will slow down, of third-party developers bringing their games to Xbox either late or not at all. And I do think the Series S is at the bottom of all of this, even for games that are saying, hey, we've got a working version, we just can't get Xbox to respond. The way that Xbox has handled all of this with the Series S, how they've handled the conversation about Baldur's Gate 3, how they handled the conversation about Black Myth Wukong. It's the height of obfuscation and unprofessionalism, and all it does is continue to drive a wedge between their platform and third-party developers. If you are working on a game right now and you're entertaining the idea of shipping on Xbox, you watched Phil Spencer basically blame Larian for not coming to Xbox in a timely manner. He said there was no hardware problem, and then the very next day Larian responded in kind by saying, you're going to get Baldur's Gate 3, you're just not going to get split screen on the Series S. Now they are fielding questions about Black Myth Wukong, indicating there is no hardware limitation behind the reason, and then answered a question that seemed to indicate there was some type of a deal with Black Myth Wukong, as multiple industry insiders have weighed in to say there is no such secret exclusivity deal. They are, in fact, trying to get an optimized version of the game. And if you see the way that Black Myth Wukong runs on the PlayStation 5, you can clearly see they did not really get this thing ready for console in general, especially one with a memory bottleneck. Then the situation with Anatria happened, and we all thought, I thought, they said they're facing challenges bringing the game to Xbox. Well, what other challenges could you be talking about? They come out and say it's actually not the Series S. They have a working version for the console, and they can't get a response from Xbox. Another dev weighs in, hack a Metroidvania game, and says, we can't get a response either. We've been waiting for months. All of this happened right after the Dune Awakening developer said that the Series S will be a challenge. And I just think you have to consider that in the grand scheme of things. That's at the bottom, that's at the foundational level of all of these problems. You have developers trying to figure out how to work around these issues as this generation continues to move in a direction away from the floor of the Series S. We are also anticipating the PlayStation 5 Pro getting announced this week, according to insiders, and big announcements coming from PlayStation, as well as their involvement at Tokyo Game Show. So the narrative around games and consoles and platforms is going to continue to move towards better performance, better settings. Some games are right now proving everything I'm talking about because they tried to do too much. Space Marine 2, as an example, not really that well optimized for consoles. They did a lot with that game. There's a lot going on. It doesn't even have a performance mode on the Series S. Then you have games like Black Myth Wukong that are basically using FSR technology to double the frames on the PlayStation 5, giving, I think, to be a bad experience with input latency and dropped inputs, because they're essentially taking a 30 FPS game and doubling the frames, so half the frames aren't even really there, so you're playing a 30 FPS game even though you can't see it, which is the reason that the input latency and the dropped inputs happens. And then we have other games saying, listen, we determined in our development strategy that we're going to go to PC first, and that, you know, the Series S played a role in their choice. So the Dune Awakening developers basically admitted what a lot of people have been saying, in that the Series S is a factor. It's a factor in the decision-making of where a game lands and when it lands there. And that has to be considered going forward. So I essentially argued in my video, make sure and check it out. It's called Xbox Needs to Fix This Fast, because I think this is a problem that needs to be fixed quickly. I'm going to be looking at some of the comments on the video. Some people have some very interesting theories about what's going on. But I argued in the video, just drop the S. You have to get to a point where this thing is no longer a factor. And if it continues to be a factor, it touches everything. It touches their efforts with games like Blade. It touches their efforts with games like The Elder Scrolls 6. What kind of a version of Elder Scrolls are we really going to get in, I don't know, 2027 or 2028 or whenever it finally lands? What kind of a version of that game are we going to get if right now in the development pipeline they're having to wrangle with the Series S? that I think is going to affect the receptibility of these games as well as on other platforms. So those are the things I want to discuss with you guys. Make sure you press that like button, because if you went and watched the upload, I'm really sorry for all the trouble that YouTube gave us today. It really hurt the video. It's probably not going to do very well. It false started. We set it to unlisted, and then it finally started playing, and then so then I published it, and then so people were trying to watch it and couldn't watch it, so I redirected people to it. I'm really sorry that that happened. There was no live chat. There was no premiere. YouTube's having some issues today. So be sure to give that video some love later on. Maybe share it with your friends. Share it in mutual places. Try to give that video some love and some help, because I feel like it's a very good video and YouTube didn't want to cooperate. And so hopefully you're not dealing with any of the blips and any of the problems right now that we were dealing with earlier. We were doing like morning coffee, and we were even having problems with that. So make sure to check out the video. That way you can know what I think. And now it's time to hear what you think. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Rough start on this Monday. YouTube apparently is having a case of the Mondays. So do me a favor, help us turn this stream around, help us turn the day around. Let's get as many likes as we can. Let's get some members. Let's get some membership renewals. I got one from Spice King doing a member plus, and he bumps the line to 9. All of those things, hitting like, leaving comments, those are the types of things that can help a video and can help a live stream out. So thank you everybody who has done that. Snake Eyes left a comment that says this is a great piece. Thanks. I had some people leave some very interesting theories on my video, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. They basically said Xbox doesn't care. This is all part of their new effort. They are basically manufacturing Exodus. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that. But essentially somebody was saying if they cared about this, they would be course correcting. If they cared about this, you would see them handling these situations differently. They would, in fact, be dealing with third-party developers better. They would be working to ensure, you know, that the Series S wasn't a problem. I don't know how you rectify the Series S. I don't know how many engineers you can throw at this. I really don't. I don't know how many people you can throw at these developers. Belphegor with the first 5 bomb of the day takes us to 14 members already, and a 50 bomb from MASH. Unreal to start the week with such a huge member bomb. MASH is an absolute madman. Guys, right now, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Let's get this stream put into overdrive. Let's tell YouTube that despite their problems, we're still going to have a good day. So thank you again, MASH. Your insane support of this channel. We need this man to get some tag team champions out here with him to push that line. If you got a gifted membership from MASH, be sure to say thank you to him. That opens up a whole host of content to you. My Discord gets opened up to you, and we greatly appreciate it. And his 50 bomb has yet to start triggering in the chat. What is actually going on? YouTube is literally not working today. I don't see any members from him. I see the 5 from Belphegor, and I don't see the 50 from MASH. What is even happening? Do we need to jar its memory? Sometimes you have to do like a single. Yeah, one random person is going to get 50 months of gifteds. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do a single if it doesn't start going. What is happening? It's slow. Okay, Rockin' Robin's trying to jog its memory. She gifts 1, and we'll see if we can't turn this around. DK Bager gifts 1. That takes the count to 66. That's 67 because Mediocre Milton bumps it. YouTube is done. Man, YouTube is absolutely busted. We'll just have to wait. It's probably delayed. Belphegor's hit right away, so I don't know. Everybody hold off, I guess. Emony Christmas, what is going on? It's days like today. It's like I don't know what are we even doing? YouTube's hungover. Apparently, if you put Series S in your title, the platform runs like a Series S, I guess. I don't know. Any Christmas, YouTube. Joker Quinn gifts 1. Trying to rattle this thing's cage. I do not know what's going on. The Bushin Ryu gifts 1. 69 members on the day. Nice. Let me pull open the member count on the back end and see. Maybe we're just not seeing them in chat. Maybe they are hitting. So total member count is 3468. All right, let me do a refresh. All right. Total member count is 3468. And Mash just did another one. Okay, let me refresh the back end again and see if it went up by 1. It still says 3468. Wait, there's a single from Mash. So Mash just got a single to work. And Bushin's going, Joker's going. There they go. Okay, they're going to go backwards now. It looks like they're going backwards. There's Rockin' Robbins. Okay, the 50 from Mash should be coming now. There they go. We did it. We unclogged the drain, chat. The water is flowing now. P-Dub H-Town with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I was like, oh my gosh. Jason Schreier saying, good news is that Rockstar employees all told me they have not heard of any delay. Bad news, it's a big, ambitious game that could very well slip. Too much time left to say anything definitive. Okay, there we go. We got the members to push through. Thank you guys so much. We'll turn this into a good day whether or not YouTube wants to cooperate or not. There it is. The member count on the back end is going up. Okay. Gee, purrs. Guys, make sure and say thank you to Mash and everybody else. We're on our way to the first 100 of the week already. And every time we hit 100, I owe you guys 20 members, so keep it going. Nobody wants to ruin the nice 69 out of 500 right now. To get others to gift to fix it. I was just going to do the 5 bomb that I owed you because I figure if mine doesn't hit, that's no big deal. I don't want you guys, your guys to not hit. If mine doesn't hit, I can file maybe file like a report or something with YouTube officially and not make you guys have to do it. Duke Elorphin with 24 months. That's a member plus. Member pluses count, and that takes the count to 70. All right, let's get back on topic then. Now that we're no longer scolding YouTube for not working. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Feed is somehow still dodging memberships. So I kind of agree with the comments. There are people leaving comments on the video, and they're basically saying, don't you owe us 10? Yeah, I'll just wait and see if you can hit 100, and I'll drop a 20. I was going to do the first 5 that I owed you just to, like, knock it loose instead of doing all 10. Anyways, there are people leaving comments, and they're basically saying, if Xbox cared, this wouldn't be happening. These are clearly things that they are not prioritizing. If they were prioritizing better third-party relationships, if they were prioritizing power, if they were prioritizing performance, then these things wouldn't be happening. Series S wouldn't be happening. Forcing parity wouldn't be happening. They certainly wouldn't be out here doing interviews like the one that Phil Spencer did or this one about Black Myth Wukong, insisting that there's no hardware limitation. Like, they continue to insist that that's not the problem. And it's like, okay, well, eventually, that's going to come home to roost. I said when Phil Spencer did that interview with Destin Legary, I said, that's an enormous professional mistake. Because what you're doing is you're telling the developers of the gaming world, if you struggle to come to our platform late because of the Series S, we're going to make it seem like it's your fault. Like, Larian spends months basically doing interviews, and instead of talking about their game, they're having to answer questions about the Series S, which has nothing to do with them. It's not theirs. It's not their console. It wasn't their decision. And yet they were, I think, very professionally and very diplomatically handling those questions. Thank you, Kingslayer, for renewing for another month of memberships, taking us up to 71 on the day. They were very professional. And when Phil Spencer handled that interview the way that he did, it basically sent a loud and clear message that even if you're the size of Larian, Xbox is going to throw you under the bus, right? Even if you're a company that now has like the prestige and the respect of the gaming world, Larian had such a great and successful launch with Baldur's Gate 3, it doesn't matter. Xbox is just going to throw you under the bus. Do you really want to develop for a platform like that where if you encounter some issues, or you have to do as Matt Booty says, you have to plan better and you have to ensure that you do more work before the game even comes out? Do you want to develop for a platform like that? Imagine that you're game science Imagine that you're working on Black Myth Wukong, okay? And imagine that you go to the public and you say the Xbox release date's going to come when we can get the game optimized to our standards. And Xbox comes out and says that this is not due to a hardware limitation, right? And then they field a question about, you know, whether or not there's a secret exclusivity deal. And they answer it in like a very like normal way. They're like, yeah, well, I mean, we couldn't speak to the potential deals of other platforms. And then you have all of your Xbox guys, your pro Xbox guys, and your pro Xbox outlets running with the narrative that there's this rumored secret exclusivity deal with Black Myth Wukong. See, the irony is these people that think they're defending Xbox with those articles, right? IGN puts out their article, and then Ryan McCaffrey, because he was one of the first people to claim, that, hey, you know, there's a money hat on Black Myth Wukong. Well, they post that article, and he's like, posted without comment. Do you know what you're actually doing? You're actually making things worse. Because all you're doing is you're making people say that that platform is basically going to blame you or make up some, you know, crazy theory. PlayStation, tune in tomorrow for a PlayStation technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. The 9-minute stream begins at 8 a.m. Pacific. 8 a.m. Pacific, I'm sorry. 9, 10, 11. All right, so we'll go live at 10:30, so probably no upload tomorrow. It's coming, boys. We're finally going to be able to officially say, instead of like rumors, insiders, this leak, that leak, we're finally going to be able to say, hey, the PS5 Pro is real. 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we'll go live at 10:30. Yeah. We'll go live at 10:30. This is what was leaked last week, okay? People said, now the end of the trailer says the journey continues. So I think that they're basically saying, yeah, tomorrow's the PS5 Pro announcement. Because the end of their little trailer on Twitter says the journey continues. So this is about what happens next. So this was leaked last week. That's why I kind of wanted to get this video out of the way, because it was like I knew we were suddenly going to be talking PS5 Pro and PlayStation hardware, but that, I think, it plays a factor here. It plays a factor. The PS5 Pro reveal looks to be tomorrow. Send a little tweet out there. This is going to be a factor because if you think about it, you're going to continue to see developers, you're going to continue to see companies say, look, man, we can go over there and we can leverage that. We can go over there and make our game look better. We can. And that's going to play a factor. If you're dealing with the Series S and you're dealing with like these wild harebrained theories from the gaming press about like, you know, secret exclusivity deals, as I was saying before we got interrupted by the PS5 Pro thing, right? You've got to imagine what the public and the gaming devs think about that. You think you're defending Xbox, right? The Ryan McCaffreys and the IGNs. And listen, I know Windows Central ran with this too. Jez Corden ran with this. You guys aren't helping Xbox by spreading that rumor. You're not. What you're doing is you're telling third-party developers that if they come out and they say their game is going to come to the platform late, there's going to be either comments from Phil Spencer, Microsoft spokesperson, or pro Xbox outlets are going to make it seem like something else is going on. It's either the developer's fault, it's either the developer's creative choice, or some sort of secret exclusivity deal. What you're doing is you're making Xbox radioactive by doing that. Who wants to develop for a platform who has gaming press basically in their corner defending Xbox against these sorts of things happening? It happened with Baldur's Gate 3 when Phil Spencer goes out and says it's not a hardware problem. Do you want to know what would have happened if Larian wouldn't have responded the way that they responded? Take a guess at what would have happened if Larian just stayed quiet after that Phil Spencer interview. I'll tell you what would have happened. Pro Xbox podcasts and pro Xbox outlets would have run with that interview and been like, Phil Spencer's saying it's not a hardware problem. He's saying it's choices made by the developer. He's saying this is something that they've decided. This is something that they've set as a priority. It's not a hardware problem. You would have seen articles, headlines, images, videos, podcasts all running with, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 coming to Xbox late. It's not a hardware problem, according to Phil Spencer. They all would have run with it. It was a dog whistle to all of the people that defend Xbox, tried and true. Larian gets in front of it, and the next day is like, no, we're launching on the Xbox. You're just not going to get split screen on the Series S. They got in front of it. Like, if they wouldn't have come out and done that, that's what would have happened. That's what happened with Black Myth Wukong, because Black Myth Wukong devs weren't going to come out and be like, no, there's no secret exclusivity deal. It's like, we already told you the reason that the game is coming to the Xbox platform late. It's because we're trying to get the optimization up to our standards, which I have a whole other line of criticism for Game Science for saying that. It's like, you want it to be up to your optimization standards to launch on Xbox. Your optimization standards aren't that impressive with how the game runs on the PS5. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence that you're going to get it to run that well on Xbox either, because it currently doesn't run that well on PS5. But the point is that clearly the way that they achieve 60 FPS on the PS5, it's like, what are we going to do here? We got a weaker system. So IGN lied too many times. Pick one. Which lie are you referring to? They've commonly lied in their headlines and their framing. They're a tabloid. Even you mentioned before, their customer service sounds like it's terrible when you're having to hold their leaders to Xbox. Right, like waiting months at a time to get a response. That's why people that were leaving comments on my upload this morning, they were leaving comments and they were like, if Xbox cared, this would be rectified. Digital Foundry tested a Series S equivalent in hardware specs on PC and it ran like dog doo-doo. Just beat the game on PC, masterpiece. Yeah, I mean, I would love to play that game on PC, but I just don't feel like the rig in my living room would give me much better performance, and that's just not what I want to do. I don't want to have to keep retreating to PC to play games. I have plenty of games I have not had that experience with on console. I shouldn't have to keep running to PC like I had to with Starfield and Hellblade. The issue here is Xbox is way too invested in their cloud gaming instead of their consoles, an embarrassment. Well, I mean, I actually think their investment in cloud makes sense. I don't think their investment in cloud is a mistake. I just think they shouldn't have essentially pitted one against the other. That's what it felt like to me. It was like, you know, and this is where I always gave Jez Corden credit for this. He was one of the first people that reported on this, and he was the only reason we knew this. The only reason we knew that they were using Xbox Series X's for cloud is because he reported on it. It was like, yeah, we actually got to find that out because of him. A $5 super chat tip from Bushin Ryukat Lono. Is Rockstar really trying to put GTA 6 on all consoles when clearly it's meant for this gen? S's last gen plus. Also, I hope you and Kirk make up soon. Kirk and I are still friends. We're just not doing content together. Lono, you don't get it. They do that to leave time for the backlog. Yeah. Hopefully it can delay some more games so that we can all have time for our backlog. You know, hopefully. PlayStation 5. Yes. Request. Oh, man. I don't need a PS5 if Sony releases games like Concord. Yeah, I mean, I said for the longest time that Concord was going to flop, and it did flop. But the 4 years of that console that I've had it, I have had nothing but great experiences. One flop doesn't make me suddenly say, oh yeah, it's time to abandon ship. Especially when it wasn't even a game that would appeal to me, either. This guy commented on my video and says, isn't this the same delusional guy that says Xbox is better than PS5? That didn't age well. I've actually never said that, but okay. Have I ever said that? I think I said I preferred Xbox for the longest time over PS5, or I'm sorry, over PlayStation, because that's where I started console gaming after I walked away from PC gaming. Again, I was on PC for the longest time. I can't even find his dadgum comment. I had to approve it. I'll just leave it. I don't need to respond to it. I don't think I ever said one was better. I said that's where I preferred to be because that's where I built my library and that's where I started console gaming when I left PC gaming. I just got tired of PC. The backlog excuse, I've never seen a publisher push a game back because they were concerned about us having too many games to play. Yeah, I mean, the entire situation with Avowed, I touched on that in my video. I'm like, I don't see a single reason for Avowed to be 30 FPS. I don't see anything in that game that justifies the 30 FPS. I'm telling you, the reason that game is 30 FPS is the same reason that a bunch of other Xbox first-party titles launched and were 30 FPS. You know? The common denominator is the Series S. Like, the reason they keep launching games at 30 FPS on that platform, have they answered definitively what performance we can expect out of Indiana Jones? Have they said that anywhere? I don't know if they have. If they have, I really hope it has a 60 FPS mode. Space Marine 2 just launched. Series S doesn't get a performance mode. The end of parity happened with Baldur's Gate 3, and it seems to be continuing. So that's why I'm advocating for, like, just get this thing out of here. It's time for the Series S to go. It was a mistake. It's holding everything back. It's going to continue to make people not want to develop for your platform. Because if they develop for your platform and they have to come to your platform late, it says on the site that it's 60. Okay, good. I was going to say, you know what's crazy is Indiana Jones looks like it has a similar level of graphical fidelity and scope as Avowed. Like, when I watch Avowed gameplay and then I see Indiana Jones gameplay, I don't see a difference in their graphical fidelity at all. They're in a very similar lane. The lighting's good. The characters look good. The environments look good. They both look like games that should have no problem hitting 60 FPS. Don't you understand, Lono? Phil is so pro-consumer that he doesn't want games coming out, and he's trying to save you money. Sony greed is why Black Myth Wukong is available there. In no world can it not be 60 FPS on the ID engine. Do you think the engine is what helped, Paul? Do we know what engine is Avowed in? I think Digital Foundry said that Indy may get the full ray tracing makeover from NVIDIA. I'd sign up for that. Daddy needs ray tracing. Yeah, I don't think Indiana Jones gameplay looks that phenomenal. I think it looks like it will be a fun romp. It'll capture the idea of Indiana Jones, but I don't think the gameplay is going to be anything to, like, write home about. I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward game, you know, and that's fine. I like straightforward games like that. I was enjoying Space Marine 2 for that very reason, you know. Go here, shoot everything. Go here, shoot everything. I can do that. Yeah, the PS5 Pro looks like it's going to be revealed tomorrow. So we'll just do a slightly longer morning coffee, and we'll probably go over to that stream around 10:30, and then their presentation's 30 minutes later at 11, and then we'll just kind of debrief. So it doesn't look like I need to do an upload tomorrow. So we may end up doing some green room today, and you guys can, you know, watch me continue to play Astrobot. Some people were asking for that. So, do you think the Series S owners have grounds to file suit over false advertising by Xbox concerning parity? I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously Xbox knows that original trailer that said things like you're going to get the same next-gen performance just at a lower resolution. You know, they set that video to private for good reason. We have good information for a reveal tomorrow. Yeah, PlayStation literally announced it. Mark Cerny is doing a presentation tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, it looks like Detective Seeds got like... He got intel that was like half right, because Seed said something was happening this week on the 12th, and it turns out it's not a showcase. Cerny's going to make a presentation, which is more than likely the PS5 Pro, and then I guess they're going to be doing stuff then just at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if we're going to get a state of play. So, I'm a bit late, Lono. How would Xbox tell that to their Series S customers? Isn't it their best console right now? I mean, what are they supposed to tell their Series X customers, Ashen? Series X is literally, I mean, if you bought a Series X and that's all you bought, like, I want you to go back in time and I want you to imagine that I am a tried and true bleed green Xbox fan and I bought the Series X. That's where my library was. That's Destiny. Before I mained PC, I mained Xbox. Let's say I bought a Series X, and I was just all in this gen, bleeding green. And I get to this year, and I'm still bleeding green. What do you say to me when I'm like, why can't I play Black Myth Wukong? Why did I have to wait on Baldur's Gate 3? Why am I having to wait on Anatria? Why am I having to wait on all of these games? There's at least 2 or 3 other games that have delayed their release on Xbox. I forget the name of them. The biggest game last year and the biggest commercial success probably of this year is Black Myth Wukong, and I can't play it right now if I'm a Series X guy. If I'm like dyed in the wool, bleed green Xbox fan and I'm on a Series X, I'm stuck. I'm like, well, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's just say they dig their heels in, Ashen, and you're like, well, what are they going to say to the Series S owners? Okay, fine, dig your heels in. You're just going to keep not getting games or getting games late. What's the point of that? What victory are you winning? Oh, well, we're winning the victory of making good on none of the promises that we made to Series X and Series S owners, but we're just going to cling white knuckle to the Series S and drag this entire gen under the water. Like what I said in my video, the upload, make sure you guys check that out today. YouTube was having a bunch of problems and we couldn't get the premiere to go live. So like the video, we basically just published it normal like an hour later. The fact of the matter is that the fact of the matter is you're not actually helping by sticking to the Series S. Also, what about your next iteration of hardware? Can you imagine their next iteration of hardware having to be like the sidecar attached to the wagon of the Series S? No matter what you do, the Series S is the driver as long as it's in the equation. It's the one driving the car. As a corporate side, I imagine the response would be in their marketing terms, you're the minority. You can still play games, but Series S is our flagship console by sales. And for what aim? To what end, Ashen? They're going to keep getting games to skip their platform. We have no concrete information, John, always, that the Series S sold 2-to-1. We just know that it sold more. That's what I said. Let's just take what you're saying, Ashen, and let's say you're correct. They dig their heels in. They say, listen, the Series S is our flagship. Okay, to what end? OG Omar says, Mountain, thank you so much for 29 months of memberships. I love that you guys thought that was so funny, because afterwards I was like, I hope I wasn't the only one laughing about that. Let's take a step back. Are we sure these games skipping the platform is a bad thing? Series S owners are happy to have no games. Right, like, I guess you need to qualify what you mean, Zubair. I don't know if they can just rebrand the Series S as a cloud box. I don't know if that's a solution either. OG Omar is shut up, Omar. Yeah. If they cut the Series S, their user base is so small, devs will skip them just because they have 10 million user base. What I'm saying is, right now, you're not going to win developers. You're not. That ship has sailed. If you cut Series S now and you're like, oh, you can release basically for just the Xbox Series X. No. Nope. That's not the solution. You have to cut the Series S and essentially sell people on your ecosystem. You've got to sell people on Series X, Cloud, Game Pass, and mobile. That's how they're going to start to win developers back. If anybody comes to you and the Series S is attached to the discussion, they're not even going to come to the table anymore. They're going to be like, no, we can't deal with that. That's not even a reasonable expectation going forward. Ashton says, I don't have a good response. I imagine they'd have to say they're dropping Series S support at the start of the next gen. That's the only way out. That's what I'm saying. The road to get there, I think, is you got to drop it now. You've got to basically talk to a developer who's working on a game that's going to be coming out in 4 or 5 years and tell them they don't have to develop for the Series S. Destin was suggesting the same thing, that Xbox should cut it off at the Tokyo Game Show and introduce a handheld. What would that do? What would a handheld do in the equation? See my question above. Zubair says, what harm is caused when a game skips a platform? Is Xbox exposed to those harms? If it's a Game Pass Xbox anyway, who cares? I would say the problem with it, Zubair, is you're essentially ending your third-party relationships, not in like a toxic way. It's just like, yeah, we have no reason to go over there, which then is going to just drive more and more consumers away from Xbox. Like, you're going to just drive more and more people away from Xbox as a gaming platform. Like, why would you go and be on the gaming platform of Xbox if they just consistently are missing out on games? Poet Anderson says, we have over 600 people here and only 200 likes. Guys, take a quick second. Smash the like button. If you've ever considered doing a membership to this channel, maybe you're on a gifted membership right now. We have a really big milestone that we're trying to hit. You can help us by upgrading to Member Plus. It's a $6 membership instead of a $5, and we're trying to hit that milestone. Every time we hit those milestones, I celebrate by doing an IRL stream with you guys, as well as I have to play the Date Everything game that you guys think is so ridiculous. Right now, we're at 534. So we need about 60 of you to upgrade, and we're trying to get to 1,000 people at Member Plus and above, and then I will have to build a PC and stream it. And people are really liking that idea. They think it's gonna be a disaster. It won't be, but maybe I'll ham it up for a disaster. Maybe I'll get like some old hardware to break on stream and make it seem like I'm losing my mind. I've been gently pressing the like button. I hope that counts. That counts as well. And Mike Quad hits 15 months of memberships. Thank you so much. And takes us to 73. Keep in mind, if you guys decide to upgrade your membership, it counts toward our member goal. So thank you to everybody who has been doing that. Lono, I think your comments are probably right. They need to make their hardware developer friendly if they care. Yeah, I'm not talking about like the here and to make it clear that a developer can start just ignoring Series S and in 4 years be like, you can target Series X, Cloud, and you can target PC. Now, here's the other issue with that. They've got to change the way they do Cloud because xCloud puts everybody on a Series S profile. That you have to make it to where the xCloud is also not hampered. Alejandro gifts a member. Thank you so much. And takes us to 74. You're the best. Like, blip. We've been having blips all day. YouTube's having a bunch of trouble, guys. If you're having problems and you're having to refresh or audio's messing up, I am so sorry. We had a premiere this morning. We couldn't even get the premiere to go live. We eventually we re-uploaded the entire video and we just pushed it public normally. It was super, super weird. The title of the issue is the issue with Series S is next gen. You got people still playing PS4 and Xbox One. Just be saying anything. Just because people are still playing on the PS4 doesn't mean that developers are not leaving it behind, homie. PlayStation's not telling people, hey, if you want to develop a game for us, it's got to work on the PS4. Xbox is telling developers, if you want to develop for our platform, you have to develop for the Series S. I'm talking about at a developmental level. I'm not talking about the user-based distribution. That's not even what we're discussing. Raphael bumps the line to 75. Alejandro bumps it to 76 with his renewal. Thank you guys so much. We are just 24 members away from the first 100 of the week, and then I'll owe you a 20 bomb. Like, to argue that, like, well, people are still playing on the PS4, but so what? 1 in every 4 people in Japan are playing on a Nintendo Switch. You can't, that doesn't justify telling third-party developers that they have to develop for a weaker system. That's been the issue since the beginning of this generation. Do you want to know the real reason that your cadence of first-party Xbox games has been so slow, as well as games that come out with features taken out of them, or they launch at 30 FPS? Do you want to know what it is? It's the Series S. It's been the Series S since the beginning of this gen. Can't you see? It's quite literally the centrifuge. It's at the center of all of this. It's been at the center of all of it for 4 years. Face 2012 with a VIP. Thank you so much. You think it's just a coincidence that, like, Halo Infinite launches with missing features, Redfall launches practically broken at 30 FPS, Starfield launches at 30 FPS, Forza Motorsport launches with missing features and performance issues, and now we're hearing Avowed's going to be launching at 30 FPS? What do you think the cause of all of that is? I'll tell you what it is. All you got to do is take a gander at games that come to that platform like Evil West or Space Marine 2 or any other game that tries to push performance. What do you get? What do you get? You get rough performance. You get rough performance on Series S or no performance mode at all. Like Space Marine 2 just released. No performance mode on the Series S. Feature parity essentially is dead. So the entire time this is going on, it's like, what do you think is at the center of it? What do you think the cause is? Poet Anderson with the VIP renewal bumps the line to 78. Thank you so much, Poet Anderson. YouTube's a mess today. Yeah, they're having some serious problems. They thought of the Series S supported into next gen with 8 gig of GPU memory should concern present. What do you mean 8 gig of GPU memory? It has 8 gig of usable system memory. I don't know what you're referring to with the GPU memory. The GPU memory has never been cited as the issue. The cited issue is that it has 10 gig of system memory. Only 8 gig is usable. Sony signed secret deals with all those studios to make them release bad games. When's Black Myth releasing on Xbox? We don't know. My man, just bring me back some TV show recaps and I'll go higher than VIP next time. With all of these disastrous, like, Disney shows, I kind of miss having repeat theater, but just no way. YouTube might be running on a Series S today. Yeah, apparently you put in your title. Therapy Quantified bumps the line to 79 with a gifted member. Thank you so much, sir. Series S is an issue. Series S is an issue, says Jack. But Series S is also where the majority of the player base is. That's a problem Xbox needs to solve. At some point, okay, you have to admit when something just isn't going to working. It isn't going to work, I'm sorry. And just cut it. PlayStation did that with Concord. They made the right choice. They're like, this isn't going to work. And they took it behind the woodshed. And they told it to look at the pretty flowers. and they gave people their money back. Now, I'm not saying Xbox can give people their money back, but I'm saying the quicker you stop distributing the Series S, the faster you can justify saying, set your sights on the next era. Just set your sights on that. Let's say that the rumors are true and that Xbox is going to do some kind of a PC side-loadable hybrid thing and, also some kind of a handheld, okay? Let's say they do that. You should be approaching developers right now and saying, this is what you're going to be spec'd for. This is what you should set your sights on. This is going to be a huge advantage, right? You don't even necessarily need to develop for our ecosystem. You could throw the game on Steam, right? You could throw the game. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be writing fat checks for Game Pass anymore. I think Xbox is going to continue to focus on their own property for Game Pass, which is probably a really good strategy anyway. That's far less overhead than going and approaching all these companies and, writing really big checks to them for games that you don't even own, okay? That Xbox doesn't own. So Game Pass is probably going to primarily be fed first-party property going forward, and that's totally fine. That's probably a sensible strategy. So you're not going to be approaching these developers and trying to coax them onto Game Pass, but you can coax them into saying, listen, we're building this sort of hybrid side-loadable thing, almost like a PC for the living room. You no longer have to develop for the Series S. You have to. What's this guy saying? Oh, he's an insider. The PS5 Pro hardware showcase is live on September the 10th. A quick 12 minutes on YouTube and a PlayStation blog, but packed with excitement. 16 months from Jay Wheels. The three fundamental issues are communication, marketing, and studio management. The difference between PlayStation and Xbox is the PS4 is on the PS5. Thank you for 16 months, Jay Wheels. And a Member Plus renewal from D Dizzle. Jay Wheels, if you bump up to a Member Plus like D Dizzle, anytime you renew, it gets added to the total. We are now at 80. We are a 20 bomb away from the first 100 of the week. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. Thank you, D Dizzle, for bumping the line. I think the sooner they stop distributing and prioritizing Series S, the faster they can start to get developers to think differently about their platform. Right now, their platform, they've made their platform radioactive. Who wants to develop for a platform that's going to throw you under the bus publicly? Look at what Xbox has done to people actively working to bring their games to your platform. Phil Spencer throws Larian under the bus at Gamescom 2023 in an interview with Destin Legary. Throws him under the bus. Now we're hearing about, Black Myth Wukong. Xbox, a Microsoft spokesperson's like, there's no issue here with limited hardware power. Sure, Jan, sure. That sounds just like what Phil Spencer said last year. I'm sure that's an accurate account of the facts. And then we're going to insinuate and get pro Xbox outlets to insinuate there's a secret exclusivity deal going on. Sure, Jan. Then we learned from Inatria, and other games have chimed in since, saying, we can't get a response from Xbox. We built a version for your system, and we can't get a response. So you either build a version for their system and get passively blamed for it coming to their system late, instead of them having ownership about the fact that they built a system with a memory bottleneck. So you develop your game for Xbox seeing this going on. Imagine you're in the planning stages of your game right now, and you're seeing all this play out. You see Phil Spencer blame Larian. You see a Microsoft spokesperson passively blame Black Myth Wukong and Game Science, indicating there is no limited hardware issue. And then you see Inatria and Hack and other games chiming in and saying, we can't even get a response from Xbox. You see Chris Dring come back from the GDC earlier this year, and he says game developers are questioning whether or not they want to bring their games to Xbox. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why that is. The way that Xbox has treated third-party developers just in the last 12 months is you're either cattle to be purchased or a scapegoat to be blamed. Do you really want to go to a platform that treats you like that? I wouldn't. Oh, I also forgot to mention that their hardware sales are abysmal and they're in a full decline. Yeah. Yeah. Real winsome platform to build games for. Who wants to build games for a platform like that? You're not just dealing with limited hardware. You're not just dealing with limited sales. You're dealing with a platform that has treated third-party developers like cattle for purchase or scapegoats for blame. I would never want to develop for a platform like that. Like, I loved what Larian did. He was like, oh yeah, you want to go out here and make it seem like it's our problem? Fine. Take the game or leave it. I was so glad when they did that. I couldn't believe the way Phil Spencer handled that interview. It's like, they've been fielding questions about your stupid Series S for months, and you have the balls to sit down and do an interview and passively blame them? You got a lot of nerve to do that, especially with the Game of the Year contender at the time and now subsequent winner of Game of the Year. Really great job, Phil. You really made a lot of third-party developers want to build for your platform. What a great way to extend a handshake to the most talked about, not most talked about, the most critically acclaimed game last year, Baldur's Gate 3. That's why I said this needs to be fixed. You got to fix this. You can't see. I don't think a platform can survive if they're constantly burning every bridge with every third-party developer out there. Unless, of course, again, the idea that some people have put forth in my comments is if Xbox cared, they'd be handling this differently. They basically believe that it's evidence that Xbox doesn't care. They're just heading towards becoming a publisher. And I find it very difficult to argue with that logic. They don't care about the bridges, they'll just buy the country. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be doing any more big purchases, Zubair. I've seen some people suggest that. They'll be like, yeah, well, they'll just buy the developers up. I don't know about that. And if they don't attempt to fix this, that's my big question then. Are you really taking up for your consumers? Are you really ensuring that your consumers have a good experience? Like, people are like, well, they can't abandon the Series S. What about all those users? What about all those people? What do you mean? They don't seem to care right now. If they show GTA tomorrow, it's over. I don't think they're going to show GTA this early. Yeah. I like what Creature... I think, like Creature says, they're gangsters, and they do... they treat everyone like marks. Has Microsoft seen enough return on ABK to start looking at more purchases? Yeah, I don't think they're going to try that again. Yeah, D the Great says they can't buy anything for a long time. Yeah, I don't think they'd want to extend any more capital in that direction. I don't think the shareholders would be okay with that. They'd be like, no. We want to see a return first. You need to chill the frick out. A VIP renewal from Mike on the mic takes us to 81. Thank you so much, sir, for renewing your membership. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's good, Mike? What's tomorrow? We are very likely going to see the PlayStation 5 Pro announced tomorrow. Mark Cerny is doing a presentation at 11 a.m. Eastern. We will co-stream it. Jerry says, I don't think they can fix this, Lono. Too many people have invested in Series S and the fan base is going to feel abandoned. How do they already not feel abandoned? How do they already not feel abandoned? Do you own a Series X or an S? I own a Series X. I don't feel like they're doing anything for me at all. Had to play Starfield on my PC. Had to play Hellblade 2 on my PC. Avowed. I'm not even going to freaking play that game. Why would I even bother? Why would I bother? What's the point? What is the point? You love your Series S? I didn't ask you your opinion on your Series S. Do you feel like you're getting what you were promised? Do you feel like you're getting everything that you're supposed to get, as Xbox right now is doing things to drive third-party? Black Myth Wukong is coming late, and other titles have chimed in like Anatria and Hack, and they have said, we can't get a response from Xbox. You have game devs right now with versions of games built for Xbox, and they can't get a dadgum response? What the heck? I don't want to hear that. Another big blip. Yeah, I am sorry that you guys are getting all these blips. Do me a favor, smash that like button. Let's get a respectable like count on this video, and, you know, we'll make the best of it. Let's try to hit 100 members. I'll drop a 20 bomb. That'll help. Let's just keep going. If you keep doing those things. I know it's frustrating when that happens, but we've just got to press on. Like, I can't not stream. We can't just like take the day off. We don't have the luxury of being able to do that when things are going poorly on the platform. Lono's time traveling today. Arc Soul Brother says, I feel like I was cheated. Only reason I got a Series S was because of performance that they offered. That's what I mean. Like, I genuinely wonder how many people bought a Series S or an X and feel like, man, we just didn't get a deal. We didn't get a good deal. We're on the wrong end of the deal right now. 82 members on the day. A single gifted comes in from Patrick Q. Thank you so much, Patrick. Doomslayer says, I think it's pretty obvious the department who used to do that is gone or not given as much importance because their console market is over anyway. Yeah, I mean, Jez Corden seemed to indicate that department is that customer or the support relations has gone to terrible because it's all automated now. Lone Wolf with 23 months, only 1 month away from the red badge. As I say every month, I love this community. Thank you for the content. Thank you, Lone Wolf, for bumping the line to 83 with your VIP renewal. Tom Henderson saying, open bets on how many times Cerny will say PSSR. Mr. Anderson said, I stopped giving Xbox money until they can prove that they want my money. If it's tied to Microsoft, I won't be buying. Big Rock says, I stopped at the 1S when I realized I could stream most current gen games on it. So you just full on cloud game through your 1S? Really? I mean, I don't have any problem with that. I'm not a huge fan of cloud gaming. I can't get consistent experiences with it because if your internet fluctuates, I've not yet to be that impressed by cloud gaming. I think we just need better infrastructure. If I had fiber in my neighborhood, out and using cloud gaming on a regular basis. Zubair says, I'm really excited for the PS5 Pro, and I'm a PC snob. Can't cloud game either. Yeah, I'm just not interested in it. Okay. They should have kept selling the 1X. I use my Series X every day. I enjoy it. I would love a behind-the-scenes look and like an insider scoop on what in the world happened that made them create the Series S. What was the conversation? What was the impetus? Because if you go back and you're like, dude, Project Scarlet looked so good. Why would you deviate from that? What was the reason? The Project Scarlet And just Series X as it is would have been, I think, a very strong offer for a console upgrade. I don't know. I really want to know. I want to be a fly on the wall of that decision. Alex with 24 months gets his red badge. This might be stupid. Is there nothing they can do to make the S better? I remember back in the 64 you could buy the expansion. I don't know if you can start selling memory upgrades to people, homie. That bumps the line to 84. Thank you, Alex. They thought the low price was the solution. Also made it to red badge. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Alex. You're the best. Chip shortages. But the chip shortages, according to Digital Foundry, they were at headquarters in March of 2020, and the Series S was there. Were chip shortages happening in 2019? And an upgrade from J Wheels gets us a little bit closer to that big member plus and above milestone. Thank you. And that counts in the total. Thank you, J Wheels, for upgrading your membership, dude. I appreciate that. The conversation was, let's make the cheapest console possible and shoot ourselves in the foot. Microsoft had chip priority? That's what I mean. In 2018 and 2019, when they were scoping out and building these rigs, these consoles, there was a chip shortage back then? I don't think there was. I thought the chip shortage happened in 2020 because of the pandemic. Those old consoles had the bus of the central process exposed for expansion cards with new processors and memory. Modern consoles aren't built like that. This is not a chip shortage issue. Yeah, the shortage was from 2020 to 2021. Early 2020, the Series S was already made. It was made. It was usable. Digital Foundry saw the thing. They saw the thing early 2020. That means it was spec'd, tested, and in production prior to 2020. It couldn't have been a chip shortage that led to it. That in the timeline of when the chip shortage happened and then persisted, that doesn't make any sense at all. Unless you think they somehow foresaw a chip shortage coming, which I have a hard time believing they did. What are the chances for an Xbox handheld reveal at the Game Awards? I don't know why that's a new get a handheld announcement that soon. I just don't think so. I don't think they're in a position to suddenly announce it. I mean, they did say there was going to be some kind of a hardware thing in the holidays. Didn't Sarah Bond say that? So maybe. I don't know. That doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve anything. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. Lots of blips. It's platform's just having an issue today. Do your best when the blips happen. Double check that you've hit like. Keep chatting, keep talking, because we take a big viewership hit whenever the blips happen, and YouTube will interpret that as a bad thing. And it's like, I don't have any control over your platform acting up. Happy birthday, Dreamcast in the U.S. Release date was 9/9/99. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Bushin Ryu Cat. Lone Wolf says, if I understand where y'all are coming from being frustrated, I'm partly frustrated because I had to play Starfield on my PC instead of my Xbox, but part of me is actually happy this happened. I was able to try out some cool mods, and it also made me appreciate PC gaming more. Now, it's defaults to me that I buy Xbox games on PC until they confirm the game is 60 on the Series X. It's still going to be my main platform for third-party games due to the reasons I've outlined several times before. See, but none of that speaks well of Xbox. That's like saying, my restaurant was so bad I tried another one and now I eat over here. That doesn't make that original restaurant that you've decided, to no longer be a patron of. That doesn't bode well for them. That you basically switched. Yes, we will be co-streaming the PlayStation 5. It's not a showcase. It's a presentation that'll be very short, but it's more than likely going to be a PS5 Pro announcement. Yeah, I'm not saying it does. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're basically another version of what Doc Dark did. Doc Dark just switched Delta Boss with the VIP, and it's 4 months of membership. We're going to bump the line to 86. Thank you so much. So close to the first 100 members of the week. 2 truths and a lie. I'm excited for 3 things that are green. Money, Reforge 6-month badge, and Xbox. That's a pretty good joke. Bear says, that's like, I learned great lessons from having cancer. The cancer still sucked. Well, and somebody left a theory comment on my video today. They're like, this is what Xbox wants. They don't care if you leave. They kind of want you to leave. They're done in consoles, so they're fine if you leave. They're fine if you go to PC. They're fine if you go to the competitor. They're headed towards being a publisher. Do you think there's even the remotest amount of merit to that? And a 5 bomb from Super Gaming takes us to 91. Nice, strong start to the week. I hope you guys enjoyed Friday night. We made Madam play Astrobot, and you should have heard her the other night where we tried to play off stream. She doesn't want to play it anymore off stream. I don't know if we should make her play it again. But in any case, I'm having a blast with the game. Fun fact, Dreamcast runs on Windows NT system. Real first Microsoft console. Was that one of the reasons it was so easy to pirate games? I remember my friend had one that was completely pirated and he had every game in existence. Was that why? Because of the Windows NT system? Or was there some other reason it was so easy? The publisher theory is also what SkillUp was saying. 2 months from Frank says, what do you think of the PS5 Pro? Also the news that GTA 6 is getting delayed. Many other people have chimed in, Jason Schreier and Tom Henderson, and they've said they've spoken to multiple people at the studio, and there's not any word on a delay. The delay is basically a fake amount of smoke. Now, they did say nobody at the company will definitively give a date or a window because the game's so big, it could still end up getting delayed. But currently, no delay. Now it makes sense. Yeah, I've always thought that Astrobot looks like Eve from WALL-E. I can't believe nobody had pointed that out before. I've rewatched Madden play Astro. It was hilarious, but I haven't rewatched. Yeah, and then Jackbox was a blast. Yeah, Mountain. What something so not funny ended up being so funny. By the way, Frank, if you're paying for your own membership, we're working on a milestone and you can help us with it. Anybody right now who's on a gifted membership, or if you're paying for your own membership, you can help us with this milestone. We would like to have 600 people at Member Plus and above. It's the highest it's ever been. It's at 536. So we need roughly 64 people to upgrade. And then I'll do an IRL stream on the weekend with you guys. I'll hang out with you in an IRL stream. I kind of just sit in my backyard and talk to you. And then I also have to play some dating simulator. We're working our way towards the big one. 1,000 people at Member Plus and above. And I'll buy all the parts and I'll build a PC and I'll stream it. Shaking Squirt might be my magnum opus. It was a pretty fun night. Yeah. Didn't the Dreamcast piracy have something to do with how the discs and the disk drive was designed? You could literally burn the disc. Yeah, it was something like that. Or that it would read burned discs. Was that what it was? You would basically put a disc in that would reboot the Dreamcast into like almost like a jailbroken state, like a rooted state, and then you could just put a disc in with all of the games. It was absolutely insane. When my friend showed me it, I was like, this can't be real. Black Myth Wukong should win Game of the Year. Astrobot is great, but not much. Sony relying on nostalgia to save their butts at the last minute. What do you mean save their butts at the last minute? they've had a bunch of very, very successful games this year that were exclusives to their console. They've had Helldivers 2 did exceptionally well, console exclusive. Stellar Blade did well. What are you talking about? They've had a strong year. I don't think they needed saved, and I also don't think nostalgia is why that game's doing well. The game's doing well because it's a great game. It's a fun game. Kudos to Madam for not wanting to play a kids game anymore. Great taste in games. Yeah, Rebirth. Outside of Astrobot, like, they also have the other Game of the Year frontrunner exclusively, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean need saved? Like, I'm telling you, you guys have got to stop listening to people who literally speak in fan fiction. There's this whole fan fiction that, like, PlayStation hasn't had a good year, and it's like they've had 6 exclusives that have, with the exception of Concord, all of their exclusives, oh, I'm sorry, Foam Stars didn't do well. 2 live service games essentially flopped. 1 crushed it and had amazing commercial success, and all of their other exclusives seem to do very well. I don't know what the commercial success of was for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, but that was another one, and Ronin. Also, PlayStation had increased demand for its console in China simply because of Black Myth Wukong. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say anything has happened this year, with the exception of Concord, that you would say is like a giant L for Sony. Concord was a massive L. I called that one from a mile away. I said, this thing's going to flop. Who in the frick wants this? Forspoken flopped? I don't know if it flopped. It also didn't come out this year. Astrobot will get free DLC treatment. Yeah, I'm curious what kind of DLC they'll do. Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it the entire time. It's just been such a joy to play. My kids played it, and for the first 10 minutes, it was just nothing but laughter. Nothing but laughter and smiles. Some of the platforming gets pretty challenging. Like, you don't think that as an experienced gamer, but like younger, less experienced gamers, some of the platforming, I had to help them a little bit. And a 5-bomb comes in and takes us to 96. Thank you so much. Alex with the 5 gifted members. I'm not taking the opinion that PS5 had a bad year seriously. There's just no evidence. You know, it's just fan fiction. Like, there's the tweet that got community noted for claiming that, like, this Astrobot like failed commercially and stocks are falling. It was like, and it got community noted because it's just completely made up. It's literally fan fiction. 5 gifted members from King Slayer. There it is, 101. I now owe you guys 20 members. You can keep pushing. We can always do a stretch goal and make Madam go back to Destiny. Destiny or Astrobot, whichever you guys want. I could let you guys vote. The triangle missions can frick off. Yeah, the triangle missions were fun because they were frustrating. I don't know what it is about Astrobot, but like, there are times where the biggest mistake I make in that game is I think the character is further than he is. The depth perception, I keep getting thrown off with depth. Like, a couple of those times on the triangle missions, I was like, man, I'm bad at depth perception all of a sudden. I don't know if it's because I'm older or if it's just because of the way the game is, but that's the most common mistake I make. I think I'm further ahead than I am, so I just completely miss a jump. So, other than that, I haven't felt like any of the fights were all that challenging. I think they're fun, but I like those challenges of, like, if you die, you got to start all the way over. My guess for the PS4 price, $600. Yeah, $600 to $650, and I don't think it'll be any higher than that. Sounds like a skill issue. It's either an age issue or a skill issue. Either I'm just getting old and my depth perception's not what it once was, or it's a skill issue. There were so many times I was like, what? And I just fell. I just missed the jump, and I was like, all right. I like how quickly you get just to jump back in and try it again, though. It's fun. Yeah. There was increased demand for the PS5 in China. That is true. That's true. That was reported by multiple outlets. 600 for the digital version. Yeah, maybe like 600 for the digital version, 650 with the drive. I don't know, something like that. Depth perception is a problem with 3D platforming. You ever do Fortnite platforming? It's a pain. The camera is wonky. I also have a hard time with judging depth. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that happens to me in that game is I'm like it feels like an optical illusion. I'm like, oh, I thought I was further than I was. You know, it's a mistake that I'm making. The game it's not a problem with the game. It's just my depth perception is off a lot of the times for some reason in that game. Let me drop a 20 bomb that I owe you guys for the first 100 members of the week. I do 5 gifted members for every 25, so thank you so much. And it doesn't just have to be gifteds. You guys that are at Member Plus and VIP, make sure you celebrate those renewals anytime we're live. Those count as well. Depth perception equals a skill issue. I mean, I would say it is. Because they definitely give you the tools to tell where you are. You can see your character's shadow. That's the mistake I keep making in those fast ones. I keep missing jumps. Like, that's typically why I die in those. There was the green circles and then the red triangles. Those challenge courses are really fun. But my most common cause for failure is the depth perception throws me off. I'm still having a good time. I don't mind failing. It was an interesting thing to watch my kiddos play Astrobot. I didn't see them get typically frustrated at failure. Now, if they got stuck for a particularly long time, like an extended amount of time, they'd say, hey, can you help me? But they weren't like exasperated. There's something about the game that I think even failure, they're still having a fun time. They were laughing at their failure more than they were getting frustrated, which I think really speaks well of the game. I tell you what we'll do. It's been a bit of a strange day, but we have had a really, really good amount of gifted members today from mine combined with yours. Let's do 20 minutes of members-only Q&A. You guys can ask me about anything going on in the industry. This is a great time to become a member, gift a member, or upgrade to Member Plus. Jump in. You can submit a question. I'll show it on the screen, ! question, and then just type your question after that. You're basically calling the command with Nightbot. You're going to have to boot all the subscribers for one day to gift Dave Langer and feed, and then re-invite them back. I can't do that. I think YouTube changed something. I think they're trying to spread it around. We've had more and more people showing up in members-only content that are like, why did I get a gifted member to this channel? I think they're trying to spread it around, which I fully support. I do. It's a bummer for the people that can't afford it, but for the people that can't afford a membership, I think that it's a good motivator to be like, hey, you're suddenly missing out on content, you know? Being able to get a gifted membership like 8 or 9 months in a row, it's probably good to give somebody else a turn, you know? Fun fact, depth perception is linked to testosterone. Studies show women typically have worse depth perception and is the reason it's harder for them to park a car. Is that true? So basically, I'm just low in testosterone. That's what you're trying to say. I'm less masculine. Yeah, he's just out here slighting me. That's fine. Zinthos with a question for members only Q&A going on right now. Zinthos says, how much would be too much for the price of the PS5 Pro? I honestly think 700. Anything at 700 and above is too much. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think the market would have a different response to that. You know, I think 600 to 650, there are plenty of people that are going to be like, yeah, no, that's too much for me, too rich for my blood, whatever. But at 700, I think you're going to have some folks saying, yeah, that I'm not doing that. That I was planning on getting one. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think 650 is like the highest they can go because, you know, 650 would be the one with the disc drive, like 600 for the 600 for the digital, 650 for the disc drive version. And then I'm telling you, I think 700 would just be that would feel like a bridge too far to a lot of people. They'd be like, "Yo, that seems like that's too much money." I could be wrong. The market might bear it, and the market might say, "No, that's perfectly fine price." You know, would be a good idea to sell your PS5 now. I would just trade it in. Lono, can you buy a scalper bot and order like 50 of the pros for us? No. Yeah, even people in chat are saying that's a no for me. That's a no for me if it hits 700. Yeah. Guys, take a quick second. Let's try to hit 400 likes. We're going to do members-only Q&A for the next 20 minutes or so. So now is a great time to hit like, gift a member, become a member, and then submit your question in the chat. Vice King asking me a question that is sort of related to gaming. I try not to talk movies or TV shows too much here because I'll get very passionate about it and eat up a lot of time. Does the Minecraft movie flop? I honestly don't know. I saw the guy that did a version of the trailer basically animated. And I'm like, how on earth did you guys not just do this? Like, I don't know what person looked at the success of the Mario movie as well as the Sonic movies and thought, you know what we need to do? We need to do a live action video game movie. Who is the idiot that said that? Seriously. Who? Why would you think that that was a good idea? Sonic turns everything around, completely crushes it, and then continues to crush it. And then Mario comes out and crushes it. And you thought, well, I know what we'll do. We'll take the most video game ever, frickin' Minecraft, blocky, graphics, and let's translate that into live action? Isn't Sonic live action? I mean, it is and it isn't, though. Sonic is like fully animated. A lot of the world's fully animated, and then they throw in like real people, but like it's not the same though. Like, look at the way they're doing Minecraft. It's like this weird valley in the middle. It's like, what the frick is this? It's like they wouldn't. So like Mario's totally animated, and then like Detective Pikachu and Sonic is like a blend. Minecraft is like, it's like not a blend at all. It's like this weird middle ground where the animated stuff doesn't look like Minecraft. It's in like this valley of trying to look realistic. Only Sonic is animated? All the special effects and stuff are totally animated and not really there, right? You have real live actors for a lot of the characters and a lot of the people, but like Sonic and all of the other characters from the video game world, with the exception of like the villain, Jim Carrey, like it's all made to look like Sonic. And then Minecraft is like, okay, you have the real people, but then the actual animated world, it's like it doesn't blend because they're too far apart. Like Minecraft is like all the way over here as far as graphics, and then like real people are all the way over here, and they tried to meet in the middle, and it ends up just looking terrible. It's like, what? Who thought this was a good idea? Yeah, it very much is like an ugly Sonic moment. It's an ugly Sonic moment. It's like, I don't know if it'll flop though, because Minecraft is such a big name. Will the audience be so broad, so diverse, such a huge age range of people? Will they just not care? Will kids just go and laugh? Like Jack Black's funny, ha ha ha. It probably will still be commercially successful, maybe. I don't know. It could fall flat on its face. It's really hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. I lean towards animated. After what happened with Borderlands, it's like, I don't know why you would do this. I know Sonic is a blend, but I still feel like Sonic heavily leans on the animation and heavily leans on Sonic and Knuckles, like they didn't try to make them look like they're in the real world. They literally look like actual video game characters interact, like with Detective Pikachu. Pikachu still looked like Pikachu. He just had like the texture that made it look like he was standing right there talking to people. With Minecraft, it's like I would have leaned far more heavily on animated. A good example is Mario. If they would have done Mario and tried to blend it with the real world, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. It would have looked awkward. It would have been like, wait a minute. You know, because you have Mario and Luigi are human characters. So you either have them portrayed by human actors, or you'd have Mario and Luigi as animated versions of humans interacting with real humans, and it would have been real freaking weird. That's the problem with Minecraft. When you're walking around the world of Minecraft, you're walking around as a human character. So you either make the human character look real and then make everything else look real, which is what they're trying to do. Like the trees and the grass and the texture of the animals and stuff, it all looks real, but it has to look blocky because it's Minecraft. It's like the identity of the game doesn't feel like it's present because they went too far into this like middle ground territory. I think Mario proves that animation is the safer bet with a video game movie. The crazier part is how many YouTubers have spent well over a decade animating Minecraft stuff, and they have so much technical expertise. Why not hire them? I don't know. Yeah, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit is from a time, you know, like Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like that was from a different era of time where that was considered like a real charming thing, and you know, it was obviously a very different approach than what we're even talking about. So, yeah. Did the fans of Minecraft enjoy the trailer? I thought the trailer didn't it get obliterated on the like-dislike ratio? It's an ugly Sonic moment if I've ever seen one. Is it the Warner Brothers teaser? It has 1.4 million downvotes and only 600,000 upvotes. It's bad, dude. It's bad. And if you want to claim that it's just brigading, everywhere it shows up, it's bad. IGN re-uploaded it. 77,000 dislikes, 45,000 likes. It's real bad. I mean, Jason Momoa with bangs, too. I don't know what they were thinking. It's like they tried to make it ironically cringy, but it ended up just being cringy. You know? It's like, yeah, you meant this to be kind of like ironic, like hee hee ha ha, we're laughing at ourselves, cringy. It's like, nah, it's just cringy, bro. It's just not good. Yeah, Borderlands could have been amazing if it was animated. I don't know. I just think it's a safer bet to animate your film. Sonic pulled it off, but again, I think it's because they focused on making the animated characters look so good. Sonic is more like... Here, I'll say it another way. Sonic and Detective Pikachu are taking animated characters into the real world. So it works. Minecraft went the other direction. They're taking real people into the animated world, and it just doesn't work. That's the wrong direction to take it. Minecraft wouldn't have worked bringing like a blocky animated character into the real world. It wouldn't have made any sense. In the world of Minecraft, you're going to make a Minecraft movie. You want to be in the world of Minecraft. You want to see the blocky trees and the blocky mountains and, you know, all of the token animals and creepers and stuff. And it's like, so you want to be in that world. Well, if you take real people into that world, it's going to look awkward. It's going to look funny. When you go in the other direction, it works. Like if you pull Sonic into the real world or you pull Pikachu into the real world, I think that's an easier bridge to gap. I think it also makes more sense too because like you're interacting with characters that like when you play Sonic or when you play Pokemon, you're not in a world that like has an iconic artistic feel. Like Sonic's been in so many different games and so many different contexts. And, you know, Pokemon has always been set in a world that is somewhat real, right? Islands and water and trees. And then the animals are mythical, but the people are they're just people. So, another members-only question from Trill Troll. What's the likely announcement of the PS5 Pro tomorrow? What do you think the general reaction will be? Well, I think the reaction to the PS5 Pro is easy to predict because you can already see how people have approached it. Right? You can already see how people have approached it. They went through, denial. It doesn't exist. To, it's stupid and unneeded. To, it won't be strong enough. To, PCs are better. To, like, that's it. So we're basically on that trajectory of, okay, it's going to be real. So now what do we do? I just think it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more fan fiction. It's like when people said the Series S is going to run circles around the PS5. Okay. I think you're going to see similar amounts of copium tomorrow. You'll see people running with narratives and statements and fan fiction to feel a certain kind of way about it. And I mean, then the ponies are just going to be, they're just going to be going crazy. They're going to be like, this is it. Xbox is dead. PlayStation's king. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's all, the scripts are already written. Do you know when someone's close to death and the news outlets, they write the in memoriam before the person dies, so then they can just hit publish? Yeah. This is the same. Everybody has a script they're going to read from, and the scripts are largely already written. Ponies are going to strut around and talk about most powerful console. They'll throw that in the Xbox guy's face. They'll strut around and talk about how the PS5 Pro is going to be the best place to play Xbox games. You'll see that. They'll talk about how, like, the PS5 Pro is going to be the best place to play Indiana Jones and Starfield and the like. And then the Xbox guys are going to say, you PlayStation guys are suckers and corporate shills, and who needs that? You'll lap up and buy anything PlayStation puts out there. Who needs that? What a waste of money. Overpriced for no upgrade. I guarantee you they'll say things like, there's no launch titles for the PS5 Pro. And then the PlayStation guys will turn around and say, we don't need launch titles. We got plenty of Xbox titles coming over. Like, the script is already written. Like, that's what Twitter's going to look like for the remainder of this week. And I would rather just talk about, what's it mean for the games coming out? Like, what am I going to get? Like, am I going to get better performance? Is it going to fix issues like with Final Fantasy 16? Is it going to fix issues with games like Space Marine 2? So there you go. If you're a bleed blue podcast or a bleed green podcast, I just gave you your talking points for the next couple of days. You guys got plenty of videos and podcasts to make. Silent Spartan says, what's your read on the PS5 Pro? Getting it, passing, or indifferent? Oh, I'm definitely getting it. Number one, I'm a content creator. I want to be able to talk about how good or bad it is. I'm going to get a Switch 2 when it comes out for the same reason. So if Xbox does a mid-gen or a handheld or whatever, I'm going to get that too. So yeah, definitely going to get one. My hope and expectation is that I just get a very consistent floor of 60 FPS or bust. That's what I want. I don't want developers coming to PlayStation and being like, but we did this and this with the graphics and the lighting. Shut the frick up. Give me 60 FPS. Or I have zero interest in your game. It is 2024. This shouldn't even be a conversation anymore. I don't want to hear creative decision or graphics and lighting infidelity and I don't want to hear that. I'm so fed up with hearing the BS PR from developers about why they didn't prioritize performance and develop some weird obsession with, like, lighting and textures and resolution, and then the game, when you move, looks like a blurry mess. I don't care. And if the PS5 Pro creates some sort of a impetus to say, listen, you can do those things and you can still get 60 FPS because we're going to help shoulder some of the burden with upscaling. That's what I hope the result is. I am tired of hearing the consoles aren't strong enough. I'm tired of hearing stupid, canned, made-up excuses that seemingly go away a year later. Yeah, creative decision for Starfield? Yeah, why does it have a performance mode now? What happened to your creative decision? You sacrificed your creative vision for what? For what? Redfall, same thing. Just all of a sudden you can do it. Yeah, we figured it out. We're going to apologize for it not being there at launch. We'll just bring it later. Plague Tale Requiem, it got a patch later. What are we even talking about? Quit accepting canned answers. Quit accepting BS from these companies and be like, nope, I'm not interested in your excuse as to why your game's not 60. Not interested. Make it a priority from moment one. Why? Because it's what people expect. Imagine if a TV show came out and every episode was 10 minutes long. And they said, listen, we're sorry that this fell woefully below modern expectations of a TV show, but we spent a bunch of money on the cast and the special effects. What would people say in response? Oh, thank you for having such misguided priorities. I can't wait to watch 10 minutes of a beautiful show with a great cast. That's going to be great. No one would say that. No one would say that. But quit accepting this BS from developers. Make it a priority to give me the minimum expectations of a game in 2024 or take a frickin' walk. Either make it a priority or I'm not interested in your game. I wouldn't accept this in any other form of entertainment. Well, we spent more time, bandwidth, and priorities on these things over here, so now this thing has to suffer. Okay, then I don't care about your product. We spent a bunch of money to make sure that our fries were evenly cut and seasoned and flavored. So, your steak's frozen. Okay? What? Minimum expectation from here on out should be 60 FPS. This shouldn't even be a conversation. Now, if you want to turn everything on, ray tracing, 4K, all the pretty bells and whistles, and then that mode is at 30 FPS, that's totally fine. But if you're like, yeah, sorry, this is just the way we built the game. We baked everything in. You can't turn anything off and you have to play the game at 30 FPS. Dude, no, thank you. I want you to remember that in 2017 and 2018, 6 years ago, folks like me were switching to PC because we wanted 60 FPS. That was 6 years ago. I was playing Destiny 2 and Fortnite on a PC. Why? Because I wanted 60. And then in walk these consoles that say, we're going to give you up to 120. And here we are 4 years into the gen, and you're accepting these BS excuses about well, it was a creative decision, and you don't really need 60. Listen, just shut up. Just say you didn't make it a priority. Just shoot straight with me. Just tell me. Or in the case of Xbox developers, just say, yeah, the Series S is a challenge, like the Dune Awakening devs have said. That's what I hope we get out of the PS5 Pro, is a furtherance of the narrative that you can deliver 60 FPS. It just has to be a priority from moment one. And if you don't make it a priority, then you chose poorly. You chose poorly. And I'm not going to buy or play your game. I'm not buying 30 FPS games. If I would have known that Black Myth Wukong was a 30 FPS game that used FSR to double the frame rate with frame gen, I wouldn't have bought it because it's a 30 FPS game in disguise. It's not a 60 FPS game. So, Delta Boss with the next question. How much do you think PS5 Pro would improve games like Space Marine 2 and Black Myth, frame rate, graphical fidelity, etc.? Now, the PlayStation 5 Pro cannot fix Black Myth Wukong. It can't. Now, Black Myth Wukong could leverage the PSSR proprietary hardware in order to achieve 60 and not do it the stupid way that they're doing it. But it's not just going to be it's fixed. Space Marine 2, probably. They can help maybe get some headroom by lowering the internal res and upscaling and maybe get better, more consistent performance. A lot of the issue with Space Marine 2 seems like there's just no CPU headroom, and the PS5 Pro isn't really going to help with that. The PS5 Pro is not designed to give you a bunch more headroom on the CPU. It's designed to give you proprietary upscaling tech to lower the strain on the graphical thing, so that way you can do something like ray tracing in a higher resolution and not sacrifice your frame rate. That's what it's designed to do. Matt with VIP. 3.5 years onward to 4. Thank you so much. Ooh. There we go. 102 members already on the week. Two expansions per year. Yeah, obviously Bungie's going to pivot to making expansions because PlayStation walked in the room. Listen, if Bungie is suddenly saying that they're going to be doing expansions for Destiny 2, how long till they tell us that Marathon's done? How long? It's got almost double the compute units. That plus the upscaler tech is going to be a huge leap in visuals, not performance. Yeah, they're going to enable them to boost the visuals and then maintain the performance of 60. That's what we're hoping for. So, next question. Guys, take a quick second, smash the like button. We have almost 400 likes. We're going to finish up these questions, and then we're going to go to the writer's room. It's a great day to become a member. It's a great day to be on Member Plus because I don't have to do an upload for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to watch Mark Cerny announce the PS5 Pro. So that'll be a fun day, which means there's no reason to do an upload before that happens, which means this afternoon, instead of making an upload, I can hang out with you guys and play more Astrobot. So it's a great reason to upgrade to Member Plus. Writer's Room is for everybody. Green Room is a little something extra for the people that go above and beyond. Question from Raphael says, do you think Xbox can ever gain confidence back from its fans? Listen, I don't know how they ever got the loyalty that they got. I truly don't. I don't get it. When a brand starts doing things that I don't like, when a brand stops delivering on things that I want, I get critical. I was critical of PlayStation and how they handled the Helldivers required login on Steam. I think they have permanently, damaged that game. And I don't think it'll ever truly get back to where it could be because of the way they handle that. I blame PlayStation for that. I get what PlayStation wanted to do. It was a unique scenario. It was unique circumstances, and they bumbled it. I was critical of Concord. I said Concord, they should have assessed feedback and been like, nope. Do you want to know what they should have done? Thank you for the 5-bomb Belphegor. And this goes back to my criticism of the PlayStation Showcase last year. You know what would have happened in 2023 if they would have shown a dadgum trailer and some gameplay? They would have gotten a very quick read on what the public thought of that pile of crap, and they would have said, maybe we should pump the brakes on this. Instead, they wanted to play their little games and do cinematic trailers and have all this mystique and mystery, and it bit them on the rear end. And you know what they should be doing with Fair Games? They should be looking at the response to Fair Games last year when everybody watched the cinematic trailer and was like, really? A competitive heist game? Ew. Who wants that? That's what PlayStation should be doing right now. Assessing the public response to these games. Do you see, I don't care that it's PlayStation. I'm like, this was stupid. You shouldn't have done it. Fair Games looks stupid. You shouldn't launch it. Marathon sounds like a fool's errand. Don't launch it. I don't care that it's PlayStation. I don't care who it is. So I will never understand the degree to which Xbox has earned the loyalty that it gets from some of these people. And I'm going to give an example. When the PlayStation conversation about Concord started, I saw a lot of diehard PlayStation fans who were critical and said the game looked bad and it was going to flop. They didn't hold the line. They didn't defend it. They didn't act like it was good. And they're like, yeah, it's no good. I myself defended Kill the Justice League And then when the dust settled and I saw the game for what it was and how they built the live service systems, I was like, nope, I was wrong. This is a bad game. I owned it. To me, I don't know how you get such undying loyalty. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's an act, if it's like a character, if it's a bit. Are they playing a role? Do they just like it? Do they think it's fun to get as creative as they possibly can to spin everything into a positive and to act like Xbox can do no wrong? I don't understand it. As far as I can tell, Xbox has spent the last 4 years literally telling you that you don't matter, and people are still out there just screaming in support of them and doing everything they can to, misrepresent if Sony or PlayStation gets a win or has something good. Like, it's so odd. The whole thing's odd. I find it to be odd. Can't explain it. I've tried to wrap my head around it for almost 2 years because I've been on the other end of it. I've been critical of Xbox, so those bleed green guys come after me. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't get this at all. And the reason it always doesn't compute with me, I spent 5 years loving and creating content centered around Destiny, and I was always very critical of Destiny. And as somebody who felt very interwoven and built within the ecosystem of Xbox as I started my streaming career there and had a larger library there, when I started getting critical of Xbox, I didn't understand why it led to people being very angry with me. I didn't get it at all. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why do you guys care so much about this brand? It doesn't make any sense to me. I've never defended PlayStation against the stupid things that they've done. Their handling of Concord and all of that with not showing gameplay and being like very mysterious, that was dumb. They shouldn't have done that. They're learning a real valuable lesson about trying to chase trends. Like, what are you doing? And I think the timing of Concord and Astrobot is just such a potent argument for behind the scenes to say, maybe we should really assess our live service strategy here. Maybe we should really assess this and look at what works and what doesn't. Because Astrobot is the king of the castle and Concord's a pauper. Like, we got to figure this out here. This dichotomy is insane. This split is insane. The timing is just, you couldn't have a more artistic picture of what so many people have been saying is, don't chase trends, build good games. Like, a dadgum platformer is kicking the snot out of everything. Not everything. It's kicking the snot out of a trend chase that they tried. Troll says, now with Astrobot out, what do you think are the 6 contenders for Game of the Year? I mean, I think your guaranteed top 3 are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Astrobot. I feel like Helldivers 2 gets up there just because of how big it was and how everybody was loving it, but maybe not. It didn't score astronomically high, so I think you'll see some surprises up there, like Balatro or Animal Well. They like to get those little games up there. They did that, they like the indies to be up there. They've done that before with games like Stray and Hades. So after that, I just don't know. I really, really don't know. No way Star Wars Outlaws gets up there. Stellar Blade didn't score quite high enough. No, not Ronin. I don't know about Wukong because Wukong's beloved from the audience, but then you look at the actual review scores from the outlets, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be quite strong enough to get up there. That's why I don't know if Helldivers 2 can get up there. It didn't score quite high enough. You know? What do I think about the Harry Potter Quidditch game? I mean, it looks fine. I just don't know if that type of a contained experience, I just feel like it doesn't have a long shelf life when it's such a repetitious experience. I don't know. It could end up being a little bit like Rocket League, where there's a reasonable skill ceiling and people have a lot of fun with it, and it starts to get kind of competitive, but I don't know. It looks kind of arcade-ish. That doesn't mean it can't be successful. I just don't know. You know? This one's question is from Kingslayer. Any thoughts on Echoes of Wisdom releasing on September the 26th, jumping in the Game of the Year conversation? I think it's going to surprise a lot of folks. Here's the thing about, you know, the potential surprises in the remainder of the year, all right? Echoes of Wisdom is going to sort of feel like it's in that sort of Link's Awakening genre and feel. I don't know if the broad appeal is going to be there for that. Like, I took one look at Astrobot and I said, that's a Game of the Year contender. And people were like, are you serious? I was like, yep. It's going to have broad appeal. I said it. I was like, everybody's going to love Astrobot. It has that feel and it has that vibe. And I had people thought I was nuts. And then the Metacritic score dropped and now everybody's saying the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, this is Game of the Year frontrunner. I don't know if Echoes of Wisdom is going to have that broad appeal. I think there are going to be people that end up not giving it as high score or not enjoying it as much. I don't know if it's going to have that, oh, this is just such a great video game. Because I played Link's Awakening. Like, when you're in that feel and that setting, it definitely has a more dated feel. You know, it's not bad. I like Link's Awakening, and I think that game looks super charming. I think my daughter's going to be super excited to play an actual Zelda game. So, it's Zelda, and the dungeons for it look nuts. I mean, listen, it could come out of nowhere. I'm certainly open to a Zelda game coming out of nowhere and stealing all the thunder in the room because it's Zelda. My main contention isn't that it will lack quality or that it won't be a good game. I think it will lack the broad appeal. Does that make sense? Astrobot has broad appeal. I don't care what type of games you like. I don't care what your background is. Astrobot's just good fun. Broad appeal helps it. I feel like the appeal of Echoes of Wisdom isn't going to be as broad. Does that make sense? That doesn't mean it's going to be like, oh, it's going to have a terrible score and nobody's going to like it. I think the appeal of Echoes of Wisdom will be slightly smaller. And I know Nintendo is huge, so I'm not talking about commercial sales. I'm talking about the critical acclaim and the review outlets and the YouTubers and all of the people that are going to be voting in the jury process. You need that broad appeal if you want to pull off an Astrobot. And I'm just looking at Echoes of Wisdom and thinking, it'll have a great score. It'll probably be very commercially successful because it is Zelda and the Nintendo audience, they really buy games. But I don't think it's going to have the broad appeal in the voting process that Astrobot has. Parasito says, as someone who only ever had an Xbox One and a Switch for the living room, would the PS5 Pro be a good entry point for the current console gaming or wait for next gen? I mean, listen, if you don't own a PlayStation 5 right now and you buy a Pro, the backlog of excellence awaiting you is staggeringly good. I mean, just staggeringly good. So, you've never played Ghost of Tsushima. You've never played Returnal. You've never played Ratchet & Clank, Demon's Souls Remake. You've never played Horizon Forbidden West and its beautiful DLC, Burning Shores. You've never played Ragnarok. You've never played Spider-Man 2. You probably haven't played Spider-Man 1 or Miles. Stellar Blade. Astrobot. The Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Death Stranding. The backlog of excellence would just be staggeringly good. You'd have so many games. I did play Forbidden West on PC and it was awesome. Do you see what I'm saying? So you know the quality of games that would be awaiting you if you played Forbidden West. Now, you could stay on your PC and just wait for ports, right? You could play Tsushima right now. You could play Ragnarok in, like a couple of weeks. Yeah, Last of Us Part 1 remake and The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Holy cow. Holy cow. What an experience that was. I had never played The Last of Us Part 2, And I absolutely loved replaying The Last of Us Part 1 remake. It was just phenomenal. Such a great experience. So yeah, PS5 Pro, for anybody who's never been in the PlayStation ecosystem and you haven't really interacted with a lot of their games, the backlog would be staggering because the quality of those games, they're all at quality. Like if you played right now, you bought a PS5 Pro and you just started with The Last of Us Part 1 remake and the Part 2 remaster, good golly, the quality there is just fantastic. And those are old games that have been dressed up impressively well. Everybody wants to be like, all they ever give us is remakes. Yeah, they're not playing them, because if they played them, they'd be talking different. They're very, very good. They're at a stellar quality. Stellar Blade copyright spotted in the credits of Astrobot. Are we going to get a Stellar Bot? Wolf saying, so they have a TV that can do 120? Yeah. Mine can. There are TVs that can do 120. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're as common as people think, but I think they're far more common than they used to be now. I'm not a TV hardware expert guy, but yeah, I think they're a lot more common now. Yeah, Uncharted 4 was very good. I liked it quite a bit. I don't know if it's been updated to give you 60, has it? Chris Ev with a question. Are you aware of the absolute fumble Gearbox did with Risk of Rain 2's latest DLC? They've completely destroyed the game. I've seen nothing but negativity. I don't know what Gearbox is doing. I really and truly don't. It's honestly worrying, because it's like, what about Borderlands 4? You know? What about Borderlands 4? Last question. Do you think Stellar Blade will not make Game of the Year contender? I just don't know anymore. I really don't. I know what the 3 or 4 shoe-ins are. The rest, I think, are just a total toss-up. You know, I don't feel like Stellar Blade had a strong enough score to get up there. So. All right, I'm going to schedule Writer's Room. If you guys want to do a last-minute scramble and gift more members, go right ahead. Give yourself a nice head start on the padding for the week. 100 a day is basically needed for that weekly goal for Friday Nights with Madam to turn into community game night. I'm going to schedule the Writer's Room. We don't really need a Writer's Room, but I always like to introduce a lot of the new members to Writer's Room. And I'm going to schedule this, and I'm going to do it in a way where you don't get pinged. Alapark says, I do think that Sony is at least showing a willingness to experiment with new game types. Oh, you like that their willingness. Gotten out of the norm games like Concord, Helldivers 2, Astrobot, even if they fail, keep experimenting. I mean, I will definitely admit that that's certainly a positive way to look at it, to say, listen, everybody always gives you know, PlayStation guff and grief for only ever doing third-person over-the-shoulder action-adventure movie games, and they're clearly showing that that's not all they can do. Helldivers 2 and Astrobot prove that, right? But, you know, Concord is certainly a commercial embarrassment. It's like, okay, what the heck was that? You know, I guess hopefully just a little blip on the radar, you know. 108 members on the day. Thank you for gifting another member, Banshee. You guys are going to try to make a mad dash scramble to 125. I'll gift another 5, and then we'll get out of here. Stellar Blade has an 82 on open. Yeah, that's just too low. Yeah, when you're on the bottom half of the 80s, it's really, really hard to get a Game of the Year nomination. It's a quantity game at that point. There aren't going to be enough outlets that vote for you. That's the issue. It's a pure math game at that point. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it. Currently, Stellar Blade's like my favorite game I played this year, and Astrobot's now taking that crown. But it didn't score high enough. It won't get enough votes. It won't get enough votes. All right, you guys got 2 minutes. 2 minutes if you want to scramble. I'll spam a link in chat, and then we will get the heck out of here. It's much later in the day than we typically do this, so. Want the consoles to support mouse and keyboard? I mean, they do. A lot of the games just don't. A lot of the games just don't. They do. But a game has to natively support mouse and keyboard, and a lot are going to say no to that. They either don't want to deal with it, or if they're a PvP game, they really don't want to deal with it. It can lead to all sorts of, issues and complaints. I don't care because I don't play the PvP games, but I could see why that would be a major issue. All right, 1 minute. I'm going to spam a link, and we are going to get out of here. We're going to go hang out with members, and then I got to take a real quick break. It's like way late in the day for me. I've been sitting in the chair for a long time because we were trying to sort out all those problems. All right, I'm just gonna go. We're just gonna go because I have to take a break. I'm dancing in the seat. Guys, click that link in the chat, and we're gonna start the writers' room. Thanks so much for being a member. You may have gotten gifted a member today. 108 new members plus the 20 that I paid out. So if you've never had a membership on my channel before, the writers' room as well as morning coffee, that's how we start and end our days, with you, the members. Also be sure to get into the Discord. We are at 536 people at Member Plus and above. So consider upgrading your member tier. Get out of gifted, spend the $6 a month, help us hit that milestone. If you're currently paying for your own membership and you're still at the $5 tier, it's $1 more to upgrade. I'm going to end the previous stream and bring everybody over, and then I'm going to change that thumbnail to no longer say that we are live. Talking about Series S must go.